Thank you for tuning in to Love in Your Hands with Cynthia Clark, the podcast about how to live life with love. This podcast is sponsored by loveinyourhands.com, the place to go to find long-lasting love using the most innovative and accurate algorithm based in scientific palmistry. Tired of superficial connections? Start your free soulmate connection membership today at loveinyourhands.com. Now here's your host, Cynthia Clark, palm reading consultant and compatibility expert. Hi everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is Cynthia Clark, and today's topic is one that I think is super interesting, and also one that I feel like a lot of people just don't know a lot about, or maybe they don't have accurate information about. So I'm really excited to get into today's topic. I want to start out with a little palm reading because that's, of course, what I specialize in. And the concept of relationships is one that people really do struggle with in terms of how to find it in the hands and what actually is showing up. So a lot of people have heard of what's called the marriage lines, which they think means that how many marriages are they going to have in their lifetime. And the first thing I want to share is that all the lines in the hands actually change. So even if we see, quote unquote, a marriage line, this does not necessarily mean a marriage, okay? I refer to these lines as affection lines, meaning that you have an emotional connection to somebody, okay? And these lines do show up underneath the little finger, and they're right on the edge of the hand. So they're these little horizontal lines that show up on the edge of the hand. So yeah, they do change over time. Most people have between 1 and 3 of these lines, and you can just kind of see like how many you have, and they're going to show strong attachments, like emotional attachments. But yeah, so that's where you can find your relationship lines. And so that brings us into today's topic. We're bringing in Elle. Is it Elle Hari? Did I pronounce that right?
Elle Hari.
Elle Hari. He is a twin flame alchemist, writer, teacher, and coach. I love this. She is the author of 2 books on Amazon, Twin Flames Exposed and Love Exposed, as well as the creator of The Process, the sacred teachings that hold the key to being with your twin flame, her do-it-yourself system. Okay, wow, this is exciting. Through her teachings and her no-fail, extremely popular Magnetize Your Twin Flame coaching program, Elle has helped hundreds of twin flame couples maintain physical relationships with each other and move beyond the pain and obsessive thoughts that accompany the twin flame journey. So thanks so much, Elle, for coming on the show. This is so exciting.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Yeah, so let's just start out the show by how did you get into this whole twin flame stuff?
Yeah, well, they say you don't find your purpose finds you, right? I went through a twin flame journey. Oh, I mean, you're never over a twin flame journey. It's the rest of your life. But I've been on the floor for 6 months and totally shattered, which was how my twin flame journey began. When my twin flame, physically left me at first, and my teacher at the time that I finally found after 6 months of being on the floor, she got me off the floor. She totally, I credit her with saving my life. And, she's no longer physically here with us. And I just wanted to help, share her legacy with other twin flames out there and other people who might be, stuck in the painful and obsessive thinking part of the journey, which is usually how the journey begins for most people.
Wow, that sounds like a lot to deal with. So tell me, let's do some definitions for people so that they can understand, because I feel like this is really something that we just have a lot of misperceptions around. So So how would you define a twin flame?
So the twin flame is, first of all, it's the divine truth of creation. It's how we're all created. Everyone has and is a twin flame. The twin flame is, short story, the other half of, not other half, but someone, the other person that also has your soul within their physical body. So when we incarnate here, we incarnate into a world, a physical world. It's a 3D world. It's a world of duality. So in the physical world, everything has an opposite. There's an up to a down. There's a hot and cold, in and out, light and dark, good and bad. Everything has an opposite, and there's a reason for that, because in order to understand what something is, we need to understand first what it's not. For example, I hold up this pen. Is this pen up or down? Well, you don't know until you know what's down and what's up, right? It could just be there, right? So you need something to compare it to usually. And so that's what the physical world is about. It's a world of dualities and opposites, so that you can learn about things by seeing what they are not. And so that's the same thing with our soul. So when we incarnate here into physical form, into a lifetime, into a physical body, our soul is energy, and so it must assimilate to the same type of energy as the 3D world, which is a polarity and duality. And so it has to make two opposites of itself. Obviously, it never can split because it's energy, and you can't split energy, but in the physical realm, the part of your soul that's in the physical realm, it needs to make two opposites of itself. And so there's one opposite of itself in your physical body, the other opposite of itself in your twin flame's physical body. And of course, in energetic terms, opposites are polarities. And so when the twin flame journey begins at what's called soul recognition, that's when your soul recognizes itself within the physical body of your twin flame. Those two polarities, they start to build up. And they build up to a tipping point, at which point the polarities repel each other. Almost like if you take two magnets, and at first you can, when you put the two sides together that attract, if you turn them around, the two sides will then, the two magnets will repel each other, and like no force can even keep them together, because that's kind of what happens with the polarities with twin flames as well.
Interesting. So is a twin flame always going to be incarnated, like in a physical body at the same time that you are?
Well, for part of lifetime, yes. Of course, the twin flames aren't born at the same exact time, and they don't, die at the same exact time. So there's parts of lifetimes for each twin flame when, the other one is not physically incarnated. But yes, usually their lifetimes do interlap through each lifetime.
And does everybody have an opportunity to meet their twin flame during that time that they're both on the planet together?
Yes, most twin flames, yes, they've crossed paths in every lifetime that they've had. It's just now recently that where the level of human consciousness is, that where people are starting to awaken to this journey. They're starting to have the soul recognition that I spoke of. And so in this lifetime is really the first lifetime where people are, experiencing the twin flame journey. There's twin flames out there who are, are married to each other, and they've been married this whole lifetime since they've been married, and they have perfect marriages and whatever, but they haven't started the twin flame journey. So they don't know that they're twin flames. They might say they are, they might, know they're soulmates, and they know they connect really well, but, they haven't had the soul recognition. So therefore they haven't gone through the polarity repelling part, which is really the signifier of the twin flame journey. So you can be with your twin flame, meet your twin flame, cross paths with your twin flame, but yet not be on a twin flame journey.
Is this something that you can choose or not choose on like a conscious level, or does it just sort of happen?
No, it finds you. You can choose to magnetize in your twin flame into your physical world, like where your soul will bring them in. you can do that through aligning with your soul, through energetic work, like what that I teach in my teachings and programs. That can get someone to consciously manifest their twin flame in. Um, but once you're on the twin flame journey, that happens just when your soul is ready. There's no choice about that. And when that happens, you cannot consciously manifest your twin flame in. You can't do it to be with your twin flame. That can't happen, because that's on the level of the mind, intention, and the twin flame journey. It has to happen on the level of the soul. So anything doing with the mind, or wanting it, or intending for it to happen, or trying to intentionally manifest or create it to happen, that can't happen because of the polarities. Because the polarities in twin flames, they're push-pull. So there's one twin flame that pushes, the other twin flame pulls in tandem. And so the one that pushes is generally the one coming for the help. They're the ones who do the research. They're the ones with the obsessive thoughts about the twin flame. And so when and that push energy, it controls the mind. And so it's fear-based, and it controls the mind. And so, when you have your twin flame and your mental focus, is on the physical form of your twin flame, that's the push energy pushing against that physical form of your twin flame. And your physical form of your twin flame in tandem pulls away, because that's the polarity of the energy. So really what I help people do is I help them to neutralize that polarity. We take out the push, the pull goes away, and then once that's neutralized and balanced, the soul can then bring the two physical bodies together. But it has to be left up to the soul. It can't happen through the mind. It can't happen through intention, or wanting to do it, to be with your twin flame.
So people who are already in a relationship, or maybe they feel like they're with their soulmate, or they have a really good relationship, that person is not necessarily their twin flame.
No, not necessarily at all. We resonate. The twin flame is, your exact soul vibration. So, and no one and nothing else in the entire cosmos shares your exact soul vibration. But there's many, many other people who you magnetize into your life, who, come very close, and, and to varying degrees. There's people that resonate more with you on a friendship level, more on, a familial level. It would be your family members and soul family, and then more on a romantic level. And then some people have like a combination of friends and romance, which is really cool. And there's just different degrees, as when you relate with anyone. You relate with different people in different degrees, and to different varying degrees. And that's because of the amount of resonance they have with your own true vibration.
So how do you recognize if the person that you're with is your twin flame or not?
The first tip off would be that how they all of a sudden you have the most intense relating experience that you've ever probably had with anyone, and but all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it just they just leave. Like it's gone. It's over. It's like poof, like out of nowhere, and it just leaves you reeling. You feel like your soul has literally been like pulled out of your body. You probably have some kind of physical, which is a core wound pain, it's called, in your heart, solar plexus, or sacral chakra. You're consumed with obsessive thoughts of this person. You just don't know why you can't get over them. I mean, it's like, it feels like heartbreak, but to the nth degree of pain. And I mean, it causes a lot of people to, the obsessive thoughts cause a lot of people who normally, they have no trouble moving on from someone or getting over someone, or, they might, obviously go through some heartbreak, but it's just the obsessive thoughts don't stop. You can't stop focusing on this person, and it causes you sometimes to do things where it's so out of character that you would never do before, stalk their Facebook or social media, or even stalk them in person, or stalk the new person that they're with, or whatever, things like that nature. People act out of character because of the obsessiveness of the thoughts. You're just consumed with you're obsessed with this person, and it really is confusing and painful, and you don't know why, and you just feel this need to go search, why am I feeling this way? Most of my students find out about twin flames just through Google, because they just don't know what is wrong with me? Why can I not get over this person? Because also the honeymoon period of twin flames is relatively short for, compared to like many other relationships. I mean, it's not uncommon for twin flames, to just be together for 6 weeks, the best 6 weeks of their lives, and then suddenly, and then they leave, and it's like, wait, why can I not get over this person? So, and there's another it's very, very common also. I'm not saying it always has to be this way, but it's very common for there to be some physical, I don't want to say obstacles. I'll say that in quotes because they're not really obstacles, and that's the point of it. But physical things that would make or break other relationships. For example, where there's a big age difference, a very huge age gap. That's very common with twin flames. Or, twin flames are different religions or different races where that would matter to people in their families usually. Or they're the same sex when neither have been gay before. Or, they live on opposite ends of the planet and they've only met in an online chat room, but yet they still have these intense like feelings for this person, and they feel the buildup of the energy still, because energy knows no bounds, especially soul energy, because it's the strongest energy there is. It's directly from source. So there's no boundaries. There's nothing that can break this energy and this bond. And so even if they've never met before, and they meet in like an online chat room, say, or somewhere online, and then they still go through the same thing. They have a build up. They feel this amazing connection with this person on the that they're typing to on the screen, and then all of a sudden that person disappears, and they feel just the same shattered feeling that the rest of the twin flames do. So there's sometimes a physical obstacle that could make or break another relationship, where you're just like, how am I even with this person?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do people, move on from that? Is it better for them just to try and let it go? Or is it better for them to try and get back together? I mean, what's actually better for the person?
So that's a really good question. Well, first of all, because they are your soul, the twin flame is your soul. You cannot let go. You cannot move on. How do you move on from yourself and let go of yourself? This is what makes it so tricky. I want to say it's a very tricky and unnatural thing to experience for us humans. It's very natural because it is our soul and it is ourself. But that's why when I said earlier, you can't keep your mental focus on that physical body or person that twin flame is. You need to keep it within on your soul, because that is your twin flame, is your soul. They're not that physical body. You're not your physical body. I'm not my physical body. Right? We are our souls. We leave our bodies behind when we leave this lifetime, but we are our souls for eternity. Right. And nothing can break that energy. And so most people want to get back with their twin flames, and then they go through the phase, through different phases, because the energy is very cyclical, ups and downs all the time. And, when they're feeling up, they want to get back together with the twin flame. If they're feeling down or angry or whatever, they're going to want to let go and move on. I've had people come to me with both and vacillate back and forth. But, you can't really look at it as either. You just need to look at it as it causes you to look at yourself. That's the role the twin flame plays. Why you go through this journey is not to have a physical relationship with your twin flame. Yes, it can be a byproduct if you choose it. It is the catalyst usually, but that's not the point. The point of this journey is so much bigger. It's to get to know and understand yourself as a soul on the deepest level, and to love yourself. And that's what the twin flame does, because they are you, but they're your opposite polarity of you. So they reflect back to you the parts of yourself that you didn't know you had. And so really what I help my students do is to focus on that, to focus within, to transmute the fear-based energy that the twin flame reveals of themselves into love. And then at that point, once that's done, then the soul it neutralizes the push-pull fear-based energy I spoke of earlier, and then your soul will magnetize the twin flame back in physically. But the physical part has to come last. It has to come from within first, because first and foremost, you are the same soul. You're not your two physical bodies.
Right. So really it's a deep healing journey, it sounds like. It's not, it's way more than most people maybe give it credit for.
Yes. Yeah. healing is, there's really nothing to heal. You're not sick or broken. It's more of like a learning, and really an unlearning, an unhooking of like what you thought was all, you've attached to in the physical world, a lot of, and really just going within and, identifying your true self and accepting yourself without judgment, because that's ultimately what love is, acceptance without judgment. And when you can look at yourself and all these parts of yourself that your twin flame shows you by, the reaction that you have, because you don't have a reaction like this to anyone else ever. All sorts of different reactions that your twin flame has you go through. And that's their role in this. It shows you, just if you can accept those parts, identify them, and then accept them without judgment, without judging yourself as good or bad, or that is good or bad, and just know that it is, and it's you, and it's perfect, and you're perfect. Then, when you can really truly resonate with that, that's really the point of the journey, is to love yourself and accept yourself without judgment.
Right. Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Yeah. Healing was maybe not the right term. So, yeah, we're here for learning. Everything is a lesson, right? I mean, everything we do on this planet is a lesson.
It happens for a reason. It all
Yeah.
happens for a reason.
Yeah, there's no accidents in the universe. I mean, yeah, so I love that. So really the concept, and this is, I think something that just people don't think about every day, is that they do come to Earth as a soul, and they're in a human body. It's a temporary body. It's sort of like the vessel, and they are here to experience duality. And that duality is going to have some benefits, obviously. And we can look at it like a benefit, or we can look at it like destructive or whatever. Again, that's sort of where the judgment, it seems like, comes in. But if we can look at it more just objectively and go, okay, yeah, I'm here, I'm supposed to experience duality, and this person has shown up in my life, and they're showing this to me, and what can I learn from it? So is there, after we neutralize, or we learn or whatever, then it's possible to go into that relationship and have just a beautiful, expansive, more like a soulmate type relationship? Is that sort of like what we can potentially have?
You can potentially have a relationship. It will be like no other physical 3D relationship you can have, because in order to be with the twin flame, you can't have any of that fear polarizing energy there. You're transmuting that, you're alchemizing it from fear to love during this whole journey. That's what you do. And then when you get to the point where you've alchemized it, I call it balanced it enough, and you can physically relate with your twin flame, then that means that when you're fearless, that means you have unconditional love. That's true love, is fearlessness. And so, because fear is the opposite of love, they cannot coexist. But with everyone else in the 3D world, even the closest next resonant soulmate, there's going to be fear-based energy there, and that's perfect, that's fine. But there's no real true unconditional love. The only, at this time, on the level of human consciousness on the planet, the only other, and it's not even another person, but the only other physical relationship you can have with true unconditional love right now is between twin flames. Because when one twin flame balances out and transmutes the fear-based energy, it does it for both twin flames, because they're the exact same energy. So it only does take one twin flame to do the work of this journey, and which is perfect, because only one twin flame usually comes looking to do the work, and that's the one with the push energy. But with other people, though, you can do that yourself, but you're not balancing it out for them. And no one else, most people out there don't even know about doing this or how to do this. So just where the level of human consciousness is right now, twin flames are like really the first or an only relating experience you can have that truly is fearless, with no fear. And it has to be that way. As soon as fear comes in, the pull twin flame is going to go. You can't be physically together. And so how that feels is, it's very it comes without most of the things that people like to place into romantic relationships. Like, people want to place like conditions on them. For example, monogamy is a condition. It really is. I'm not saying it's wrong or bad or anything for anyone to want to be monogamous. I mean, that's perfect, but it's a condition. Marriage itself, that whole marriage contract, that's their conditions, and so to have a fearless relating experience is, you're good with yourself. Like, you're whole and complete yourself. You don't need or want or expect anything from that other person. And so whether they're right next to you, it's perfect. Whether they're on the other side of the planet, it's still perfect. It's not about the physicality at all. And then when it's not about that, that's when with twin flames, you can have that. It's a paradox. It's a complete paradox. And it's totally different than any other relating experience. I mean, you can have. Like, I can't even compare it to anything. It's very difficult to explain it because there's no other thing to compare it to. It's completely different and devoid of any fear, any of the fear-based things. Like, even when, I mean, just in human definitions of what the word love means, I mean, most of that contains fear-based stuff.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's such an interesting concept. And I feel like a lot of people might, and just correct me if I'm wrong, or help me clarify this. I'm trying to wrap it around my head. Some people fall into what I call the fatal attraction relationship, where they get obsessed and they feel like they have this amazing connection. And it turns out that that person is really not anything other than teaching them a lesson to love themselves more, and they end up completely dropping out, and they might get back together like 2 or 3 or 4 times, and it's very magnetic, kind of the pull like you're talking about. But how do you tell the difference between that type of a relationship versus the twin flame? Is there any way to distinguish it?
It would, by the only way I can say to distinguish it would be that, just the feeling, like, if it just feels different. There's usually a pain, a physical pain, like it feels like, it's a hole in either your heart, solar plexus, or sacral chakra. And also just the obsessiveness, the obsessive thoughts, that the one twin flame that's, say, left, the one that didn't leave, the one person that didn't leave, like, they would just be overcome with obsession about the one that left, to the point where, I mean, it's never been like that before for them. That would be really the only way to really tell. I mean, I know there's so many myths and misinformation out there about twin flames. And that's really what my first book, Twin Flames Exposed, was about. That's all I planned to do, was write that book, and just to dispel some of the myths, in deference to my teacher, because that really got her going, like, all the misinformation, and just, she's like, there's so much wrong information out there, and there are, and so there's a lot of these things out there. Oh, the signs you're with your twin flame, or whatever. But I mean, the twin flame relationship in the physical sense can mimic any other relationship until all of a sudden, like, you feel that pain and you have those obsessive thoughts. But I do want to say there are 2 dynamics for the twin flame relationship, 2 common dynamics. One is that, the twin flames are together for a certain amount of time, usually short. It's intense, it's amazing, and then one ghosts. One just blocks, leaves, ghosts, poof. Then there's the other dynamic, though, which is like one that you explain, where they're caught in a push-pull back and forth relating pattern, which is also just as painful. Every time the twin flame comes in, it's great high, but then they leave again, and it's like pulling your soul with them. So there are the 2 dynamics. So like you described, people in that scenario, it could be twin flames. Okay. You could be stuck in that dynamic. So that's very common.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. And would the other person also have sort of similar experiences, or could they be completely different? Like, could they be attracting somebody the same way, or, I don't know if I'm explaining that right, but just in terms of the relationships that they go throughout their lifetime.
You mean the pole twin flame?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Well, they'll go through normal relationships, and then, but if they're pulling from the twin flame, their twin flame, everyone, it seems to look like on the outside, on the physical world, that, oh yeah, they've moved on. Like it's very common. It's an addictive energy, which is why the push twin flame is addicted in thoughts. It has obsessive thoughts on the pull twin flame because that energy is addictive. And that's its drug of choice, is that physical form of the twin flame. Now, the pull twin flame, the pull is still an addictive energy. And the twin flame wants to be with the other twin flame so desperately, so badly, but this energy, something keeps them back. And it also controls their mind. So it makes them, it can be, an infinite number of reasons they tell themselves or whatever's going on, but they just can't get to that other twin flame. Something, for some reason, they just cannot be with that. They feel suffocated. They have to get out, but yet they want to be with that person. And so it's very torturous for them as well. And but it is an addictive energy, so they go usually to seek satisfaction of that addiction in other people, oftentimes, in addictive behaviors, drugs, alcohol, working too hard, eating a lot, working out a lot, whatever. Anything can be addictive, really. Yeah. So, but they tend to try to search to satisfy, that addiction somewhere in other people and other things. And of course it doesn't work, because the only thing that really does satisfy that is their twin flame. But, until that energy is balanced out, there's nothing either one of them can do to physically be together. But once that energy is balanced out, then that whole addictive energy goes. So then, they're both neutral, and then they can come together without the fear-based addictive energy in there. And then it's pure love.
Yeah. So when somebody experiences this, is it important for them to start balancing? And is that kind of like where you come in?
Yes. So yeah, it's important for them to, well, there's three things they really need to go through. And I don't want to say steps, but our mind thinks linearly. The soul is not linear. The soul is like all over the place. But, so I say like 3 steps, but it's really not steps. It's you incorporate them all kind of simultaneously. But, first you need to stop the core wound pain. And that's the pain I spoke of in the heart, solar plexus, or sacral chakra, and get out of your mind. Stop the obsessive thoughts. And so I help people do that first. And then once they do that, they're able to identify, and it's very subtle, their actual soul energy, and feel it push and pull out of their body. And so once you identify that, you can then use that to energetically shift closer into alignment with your soul, which is also your twin flame. And then as that happens, then you also can balance out the fear-based push energy regarding the twin flame. So there's really a myriad of things involved. And it's not like you just do one, then forget it, then you're done, then you move on to the next. So it's not steps. They all do, work synergistically together. My teacher called it a recipe. So it's like all things get combined, and then you combine them. But, our mind doesn't think like that. So I had to say the 1, 2, 3, but it's not really steps. Yeah, so that's what they do. And the shifting closer into alignment with your soul not only helps to then magnetize your twin flame physically back in once you balance out your shared energetic field and that polarization, but you're shifting closer to your true soul vibration. So you also magnetize in people, situations, and things and opportunities into your life, that are so much more in alignment with your true desires, your passions, your purpose. And it's really amazing. And our souls, our souls are everything. Love, peace, contentment, bliss, abundance. And it's just amazing how it all just starts like coming in. I have students who like, so many of them are just also like their lives are just like, they've gotten so much more of an abundance of everything, of wealth, of, just.
Yeah, it all goes together. Yeah, it makes sense. Everything interacts with everything else. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah, beautiful. It doesn't feel like a beautiful journey. It feels like hell when you're, just starting in and on it. And if you don't know how to work your way through it, but it is just a beautiful, perfect journey. It's miraculous. Because it's your soul, and you are miraculous, and you are your soul, and you're perfect, right? We all are.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's perfect.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. Well, this has been so interesting. I just love this conversation. So, and I think it really clarifies a lot of stuff. So thank you so much for sharing your wisdom.
Well, thank you for
That.
having me. I
Yeah,
hope it wasn't too confusing. It's very hard to explain a lot of it in words. I
no,
try, but
no, you did a great job. Yeah, this is terrific. So how do people work with you, and how do they reach you if they feel like, they've been with their twin flame, or they're looking for their twin flame, or, all of that stuff relating
sure.
to twin flames? How do they reach you?
Sure. Well, I have, if they'd like to know more about the journey and just like how it's worked, what's really going on, on the soul level, and what they can do about it, they can check out. I have a free workshop available. And I guess will you post the link? You could post, they can check out the link below this, if they'd like to do that. And so that's just an online, it's like 15 to 20 minute, video of what's going on and tutorial. Also, they can always check me out anywhere on social media. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube channel, all at Be With Your Twin Flame. So they can check me out there as well.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much. This is so interesting.
Thank
And
you.
everybody, live life with love. That's definitely the bottom message of all of it. And
Love.
yeah, have a great day, everyone. Thanks. Thank you for listening to Love in Your Hands. Please rate, review, and subscribe to show your support. This podcast is sponsored by loveinyourhands.com, the place to find the secret ingredients to your soulmate. Start your free Soulmate Connection membership today using the most innovative and accurate algorithm to match you to potential long-lasting love, all at loveinyourhands.com.